Hello, this is Malorian, this is Orc Tactical Team, and what this episode is going to be all about is the art of the speed bump. The unit that has no other purpose than to run in your opponent's face and die. And then just by doing that, stalls them long enough to do something that you need. Now, to show all this, we're going to be doing it on my brand new whiteboard. So all this, you guys have been asking for this for like 2 years now, and I finally got it, so here it is. And this is the real breakdown. It really comes down to one bad unit. And this is a unit that you're trying to stop to get it to your lines for several reasons. It could be the last turn and it's trying to get to one of your own units and you're trying to just stop that. It could be that you're trying to make it so they can't get to your main unit. Let's say that's your friendly unit there, that you're trying to make it so that you don't want them to charge you on their turn, because then they can be casting the magic they need to win. You want this combat to happen on your turn to make sure you're going to be casting the magic you want. Or it could also be that this unit here really wants to charge this unit here, and so all you need is for this unit not to get in your face for a turn so that you can charge there. Now, for a lot of cases, all you need to do is have some unit that can run in front of it. So probably one of the biggest things that you need in this speed bump unit is actually speed. You know, if we're talking something like a tomb swarm or whatever for the tomb kings, you know, they're only movement 4, they're not going to be going very fast, and so something like that isn't actually very helpful. You need something that can get into their face, and usually something like movement 6 so they can be going 12. That's usually probably what you're going to be looking for. Because of course, if this all happens too close, well then the overrun's probably going to take them into you anyway, and depending on how things work out, that could not be a good idea, because if you just go and throw something in the front, they're going to hit you, overrun, and even though in normal cases that would mean that whatever, you still have the magic happening in your own turn, all they needed to do was to charge in that unit as well, and then do this combat first, and then this second, and then all of a sudden this is happening all in their turn, and they got 2 units going up against you. So really what you need to do with this after, you've got the speed to get the unit there, and of course the second big thing you want is, because it's going to die anyway, you want this unit to be cheap, because all it's going to do is die. And so really, when I'm looking at a speed bump unit, you want this thing to be at most 100 points. You want this thing to be as cheap as possible. Of course, as the criticality of this moves up, you know, if it's going to be winning you the game, you could be going for more and more expensive units. But usually when you're building them into your army, I'm trying to find something that's 10 points or cheap, or sorry, 100 points or cheaper. Now, the way that you're going to stop this from happening is, one way is you could run it right up close to them. And the idea here is that when they fight you in combat and then overrun, the distance from here to there should be so that on odds they won't make it. So of course, this is probably, if it's going to be a regular unit going 2d6, mean they're going 7, and so it's up to you about how far away you want to make that and how safe you want to be. You know, whether it's 10 inches or whatever, this is just making sure that they will not overrun to there. The problem with this strategy is that if you are trying to be charging this unit over here, that will probably mean that they're going to be blocking you, and then all of a sudden you have no choice but to charge big scary unit. So what that means then is that really all you need to do is go to a diamond shape. And what that means then is that when they charge, whatever flank it is, they're going to be going off to the side, and in a way that they aren't going to overrun into your unit. Now in this case here, if you want to make sure that you can charge this one over there, what you're going to be doing then is just making sure that you're far enough over that if they do hit an overrun, that they're going to be going this way and out of your way. And of course, normally what they're going to be doing then is hit that unit, and because they don't want to overrun and show a flank off to you, they're just going to combat reform and be stopped right there at that unit. Some other things you have to be watching for, some pitfalls, is of course when you are throwing them there in the middle, really watch that line so you know which way they're going to be hitting, which way they're going to be overrunning. I've seen a lot of times where people throw them up, and because of, say, a wide frontage, of wolf riders like this, where you think, okay, they're going to hit and overrun one way, they don't really look at it and show that you're actually showing your flank to it, and they're going to be going the opposite way. So that's something that can be really going and wrecking your plans. Some other things to consider: you have to be worried about psychology. I mean, it's not going to help if the target that you have causes terror or something. They're going to charge you, you're going to flee, and then with a leadership test, they can just go into their target anyway. So that's something to look out for. So of course, again, if you have some sort of throwaway unit that is immune to psych or has really high leadership, or I mean, if your general's down here, so that as long as it's within a foot, you have that high leadership, that's just something that can actually get in your way and cause problems. Now, another thing that can also really throw a wrench in your plans is if there's characters in that unit. So let's say, again, you're trying to stop this unit, however, they have a nasty character in the unit right there. And, you know, this can be several different reasons why this is bad. Let's say that you have your own character down here. You know, this one's a combat character. Your own is just some weak level 4. You were foolish and you didn't take a champion, so if he ever gets there, you're dead. And so you think, alright, I listened to Malorian, I threw up my Speedbump unit, they're just going to hit and he's not going to get into me. But in fact, all that's going to happen is a character is going to charge out of the unit all by itself. And then all of a sudden, he's going to be fighting you and you're going to lose your level 4, and things aren't going to go well. You know, maybe because thankfully for combat res, maybe you're going to have it so that you break it, but in the end, now the big unit's going to get to you anyway, and things just fall apart. So, all you need to do is shift over that speed bump so that it's blocking the character. So if the character charges out, it can only hit the speed bump, and if the unit hits it, it's going the wrong way. So you're covering both of your areas that it could cause trouble for you. Now, another time where you have to be worried about speed bumps, where speed bumps can actually turn out to be a bad thing, is let's say we're in a situation where we're really worried about magic. We really know that you're really good with augments, I'm really good with augments, and really whoever controls it on their turn is going to win the combat. So, let's say that's what I did. I moved up here, threw that in front of you, so the idea is that you're going to charge in, and this doesn't even need to be at a dime in this case, and then charge into my unit with the overrun, and then on my turn I cast the magic. Something that can catch a lot of people off guard here is if all of a sudden they don't need combat to win. Let's say that this army over here, your opponent, has the advantage in shooting and magic. Well, what this means right here is that those shooting and ranged elements can be hitting your own unit, and your speed bump is now in your way because you can't charge past it to get into combat, and so you're forced to try and waste a few turns to try and get your units out of the way before you can even charge, which really means your opponent has a free turn of shooting and hitting you with magic, and then by the time you get that speed bump out of the way, they're going to get the charge on you anyway. So a really bad situation. So something like this, if you're going to make sure that that's not going to happen, all you need to do is make sure that your unit is far enough back so that if your opponent does have the range advantage and is not going to buy into this bait and is going to keep on shooting you, now in this case you can either double charge to have both units in there at the same time, or you could even have it set up so that speed bump can charge somewhere else to get out of the way, and then your main unit can charge in itself. So it's all about just setting up the angles and the order that your charges are going to be going down. And really, that's the main part of it. I mean, of course, you can have terrain and things playing into a part of this too, and it can get very situational. But overall, in general, this is going to be the main art of the speed bump. Just to hit the real main points again, it's all about trying to control when you're going to be having critical combats happening, whether it's on one turn or the other, or it could be trying to be setting up so that you're slowing down a unit so you can charge another, or last turn just making sure that they can't get some key points. And of course, the big thing you need from your speed bump then is something that's cheap, that's fast, and you got to worry about leadership as well. And then in the end, the big thing you need to do is set up probably in a diamond shape so that they overrun, they're not going to hit your main unit. And then making sure that if there are other complications, like they have characters or they're beating you out in the range battle, that you have things set up to be guarding against that as well. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.